Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about a card I think is very underutilized right now. Only one deck is playing it really, and I don't think anyone realizes how much power it actually has. The card I'm talking about is Scorpion. 2-2, you look at this normally when I'm playing this card, when I used to play this card, I felt like I was getting maybe 4 points of power out of it, 4 to 5, which is not a lot, especially considering you can guarantee that power with Silk or Lizard for a 2-5, so why would you ever play Scorpion? Well, I think this is the perfect meta to play Scorpion in, because if you're up against this Iron Patriot deck, which is one of the top decks right now, it is insane how much value you get out of Scorpion. If you hit Mr. Sinister, it becomes a 2-1, and so then you're basically getting 2 points of negative power afflicted on Mr. Sinister. On Brood, you're getting 3 points of negative power, and it just becomes multiplicative when they Brood into Absorbing Man. If you Scorpion on turn 2 and you hit their Brood and Absorbing Man, you have cost them 6 points worth of power, which is just crazy. But this deck, it just relies so heavily on those, on Mr. Sinister and Brood, Absorbing Man, Iron Lad, all copying Brood and Sinister and multiplying its power. So when you affect its power directly, you're doing so much damage. Like, this deck feels so bad if you get hit by Scorpion. And I didn't even mention Iron Man, who, that's just immediately -2 power. So if you use Scorpion against this deck, you're getting so much value, and it is super annoying as the Iron Patriot player to have to deal with that. Against Shuri, it's also multiplicative, because if you hit, let's say, Vision, it becomes a 5-7. If they Shuri into Vision at that point, it's a 5-14 instead of a 5-16. But not only that, if they Taskmaster that, then that's another 14 power card instead of 2 16 power cards. So you've basically done -4 with Scorpion just by hitting Vision one time, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, Shuri puts out so much power that it's not very noticeable, but the fact that you're taking away 4 points by hitting one card is a big deal. I mean, that just makes Scorpion a 2-6 in this matchup right away, which I think is super good. This is the deck playing Scorpion, which I haven't actually played it yet. It seems like, I don't know about Shang-Chi in this meta. I would definitely switch up Shocker and Shang-Chi. I haven't played this yet, but I did see that this deck was rising in popularity. And looking at other decks like this one, if they don't get their Luke Cage, then Scorpion is just hugely negative against them because of them playing out all their cards. They end up playing all their cards at the end of the game. This deck isn't a good example because they do run Luke Cage. And that's why I think Scorpion is so good right now, is most decks are not running Luke Cage. If you look at all the other decks, they're not running Luke Cage. Loki's not as affected because they switch out all their cards, Not a big deal. High Evo, again, Scorpion is pretty standard, which I think Scorpion not having those multiplicative negative effects is still doing okay. So I don't think there's a reason to say, I shouldn't run Scorpion because I've faced this high Evo deck sometimes. It's not that big a deal. Shuri Kitty, if you hit the Kitty, it's just lights out. You have Loki Surfer. Of course, you can hit their Brood, and that's always fantastic. There was one more, Destroy. So if you hit their Deadpool with Scorpion, then they have to Forge or Hulkbuster it before they can get any power on it, because if they destroy a 0-power Deadpool, it just stays at 0 power. When you're affecting Deadpool, X-23, and Wolverine in this deck, all cards that get destroyed multiple times, that makes Scorpion's negative power multiplicative again, because if they use Venom on their Wolverine, now they're getting 1 less power. If they use Deathlock on their Wolverine, that's 1 less power to Null. If they keep destroying their cards that you've negatived, and every time they destroy it, they're not getting the full power they would if you weren't playing Scorpion. And that affects Deadpool, Taskmaster, Null the hardest. It's a really big detriment to this Destroy deck, and it's so annoying playing as the Destroy player if someone Scorpions you, and all you have is Deadpool and Carnage in your hand, and you can't boost it up, you are in a very bad spot right away just from turn 2. So yeah, I think more people should be putting Scorpion in their decks right now. I think that Iron Lad, I think that Iron Patriot deck is probably the number 1 deck right now. Just in my opinion, it's so good, and Scorpion just ruins so many cards in this deck. So yeah.